All right, let's go, man. Woo. All right, so I have a latitude. So I think the time that I spent to make sure that the adjustments for the colors are fine is great, man. Because now both cameras, my DJI as well as my Nikon ZF, looks very much the same. I'm putting on a timeline. There's differences, but it's not crazy differences. So yeah, man. How does this sound? I think it sounds pretty good. I think as long as I don't like crazily go like very, very funnily loud, I think it should be fine. Yeah. So a little bit of latitude of, recording, Yeah, man. Alright, I'm working this out. Okay, so basically I have just reduced the mic volume of the Nikon ZF, and the amplification is purely from the Holy Land. Yeah, I actually thought about selling the Holy Land mic, but then after that I was like, never mind lah. If I get the other one, it's like so small, and yeah, I couldn't really use it if I want to mic up people. This is like forward thinking. Yeah, forward thinking, because I believe that I will be doing video soon. See, the screen over here the screen of a DJI is very cool, whereas the screen of the Nikon ZF is like what you see over here translate to what you see on the laptop. So yeah, man. But anyway, let me read a passage from here. And maybe I should just go and read a passage from the latest news. Yeah. Okay, and then let's talk about Bill Gates. Okay, Bill Gates tripped to Singapore falsely linked to vaccine mandate claims. Singapore did not pass a law to mandate vaccines and jail the unvaccinated days after Bill Gates visited city-state, contrary to false claims amplified by a website. AFP has repeatedly fact-checked. Under its infectious disease law, Singapore authorities can only enforce a vaccine mandate if it determines an outbreak is imminent and that inoculations are necessary to secure public safety. Singapore passed laws to mandate vaccines and jail the unvaccinated days after Bill Gates' high-level visit, reads a May 12 post by an Australian-based Facebook page with more than 9,000 followers. The post links to an article with the same headline on The People's Voice, a dubious website which AFP has repeatedly fact-checked for amplifying COVID-19 misinformation. This site has previously claimed Gates and World Health Organizations were forcing vaccination, which AFP has debunked here. Just as Bill Gates and World Health Organization, who Tedros Ghebreyesus wrapped up the high-profile visits with the nation's top leaders, sweeping changes were quietly pushed through the country's legal system. Changes that make it a crime to refuse mandatory government vaccines, reads the article, calling the timing impossible to ignore. Other posts claiming Singapore would mandate vaccines also appeared on X, Facebook, and TikTok. But Singapore's Ministry of Health told AFP that claims are false. Singapore has not passed any laws on vaccinations after Mr. Gates' recent visits to Singapore. The ministry said in an email statement on June the 3rd. The billionaire was in Singapore on May 5th to announce his philanthropic Gates Foundation would be opening an office in the country. How do I sound? I criticize President Trump. He's accusing me of treason. Miles Taylor, who in 2020 revealed himself as the author of the explosive, anonymous, NYT column that described a resistant group within the Trump administration. Several weeks ago, in an unprecedented move in US history, President Trump issued a presidential memorandum directing a federal review of a private citizen for criticizing him. That person was me, him. In 2018, while working as a chief of staff for the Department of Homeland Security, I called on my colleagues to preserve our democratic institutions. Now I'm calling on federal watchdog to take actions. This week, my legal team submitted a formal complaint to the Inspectors General of the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice. We are asking them to investigate whether federal officials are carrying out what we argue in an unconstitutional order that targets a citizen not for a crime but for dissent. I served in the first Trump administration and sounded the alarm about the abuse of power I saw firsthand. First, by blowing the whistle anonymously and then publicly. I warned that if Trump returned to power, he would use the presidency to punish his critics. This warning was not rhetorical. I said it would be a revenge machine against individuals and institutions alike. Since then, Trump White House has been busy proving my point. The president issued his order on April 9 suspending my security clearance and instructing DHS to conduct an investigation of my time in the government. As he did, he suggested that I was guilty of treason, a crime punishable by death, and that the Attorney General should likewise investigate. Trump teased years ago that he would punish me for speaking out, and now back in office, he has followed through on the threat indifferent to the First Amendment protection. But this was much bigger than me. This is about whether we will allow the president, any president, or any political party to criminalize criticism. That's why this Inspector General complaint matters. Yes, I feel quite tired just talking like that. Imagine if I would have vlogged this way. My goodness.